Born in southwest Louisiana, little community called New Iberia, Louisiana, who I often call the pillars of my structure. They were the ones who formulated who I am today. Of course, my mom, her name was Audrey. Audrey Lee Frank Luqueer. My aunt was Verna Mae Will Turner, Verna Mae Frank Will Turner. She gave birth and lost one at an early age to 11 kids. Yeah. Oh, man. That woman was so special to me. Oh, yeah. Out of all those kids, I could still remember her treating me just like I was one of them. I mean, I could spend summers with them, and man, that table with all those kids, and you know, the memories of the fullness of that size family will always be with me. Pretty much raised by my grandparent, Martha Franks. She used to drag me to church every Sunday at 5 a.m. in the morning. But she was grounded in a sea of just an incredible religious faith that drove her to serve and be part of a ministry that just gave back to the community. And she taught me that you can't serve enough, you can't work enough. And don't ever ask for anything in return. And she never did. Never stopped. Yeah. We had a great upbringing, just super. Our household was just like any other, what I would call, below the poverty level housing. We actually had inner plumbing when I was growing up. As my uncle used to tell me, well, they put it in when you were about 5 years old. Well, of course, that's about when I remember. My great aunt, my grandmother's sister, had this huge garden, and we would bring in okra, and I can remember lying in those fields among the carrots and just literally pulling my ground, eating them right there. Oh yeah. Great years. Didn't know that we were poor. They never let that into our minds. All of my family teased me because I was the anointed one. I could do no wrong. And they used to say, oh, she spoiled you something rotten. She wouldn't, you could not get into trouble. And it killed us because, oh yeah, my older uncles would wait and rough me up, and simply because they couldn't get to me, because my grandmother would protect me from all of the many good things that I did. My grandfather would bring home fish, where he would go out and barter fish and all kinds of seafood. And we were big seafood eaters. I actually grew up eating seafood thinking this was sort of like, most people will eat rice and beans every day. And we were raised on crabs and shrimp and fish nearly every day. I had no idea This was in today's environment. Whoa, seafood? Oh, yeah, we had gumbo, and when we had gumbo, we had gumbo. The look of my grandparents' faces as they gathered to have gumbo. It wasn't just making it. It was, the talk and the smell, and 3 or 4 hours later it was ready. But it was a family affair. It was okay. Who's going to make the bread? Yeah. What I call some incredible years with my extended family. My aunts and uncles, who were anywhere from 2 to 7, 8 years older than I was. I thought they were my brothers and sisters. Actually, we were raised that way. Having older uncles and aunts to certainly guide the way for me. I almost had things spelled out. This is the way you're going to do it, My sister and I were the only two that my mom had up until I was in the 11th grade, and she finally got married again to my stepfather, who I probably today have always known to be my, if you will, dad. They had 3 more kids after that, and I had the awesome responsibility of sporting around the 1-year-old when I was actually a sophomore in high school. Once my mom had gotten remarried, established, they all moved back to New Iberia, and it always was my, place, birthmark place that I grew up in, place that I felt very comfortable with. And the core of who I am came from there.